You're gonna have to fucking kill me!
Hello, everyone. I am Sean of Third Railify. Thank you for being here as we do a little day show. I am joined by my co-host, Griffin. Everyone, say hello to Griffin. Isn't he the cutest little thing playing? He was playing Peppa Pig a few minutes ago. Now he's eating some Cheerios. That's the only way I can keep him calm. Yeah. All right. Let's do some news. We'll try and keep it a tight hour, because after this, I have moderating to do for the quartering. So we will just share the screen here so you can see what we see. And first, this is a smattering of news stories today. Some of them are maybe serious, mainstream kind of issues going on. Some of them are lesser than stories that nobody else will cover. Quarting won't cover them. Benny Johnson won't cover. Tim Pool certainly won't cover them. But I will, because they're kind of funny. And I like those stories. You do too, for the most part. Probably not appropriate for the middle of the day. It is noon. And so, I mean, that's fine. The first one we have, though, is owner forced to sell Colorado apartment complex where Venezuelan gangs have been running rampant, despite Aurora cops claiming there's no problem there. I mean, wasn't life just so much easier? It was so much more simpler when we thought there was going to be a gang war between the Hells Angels and the Venezuelans. But it turns out, no, that was just a disappointing thing that was on the internet. There was some bike event or whatever taking place somewhere else in Colorado, and misinformation. It might have even been in bad faith, which would have been disinformation. So the owner of an Aurora, Colorado apartment complex has agreed to sell the property after claiming it was taken over by Venezuelan gangsters. I wonder who would buy this. I mean, I haven't read this story. We're reading it for the first time. But would a bank want that? Would the government want it? Like, who would want a cesspool like that? Aurora officials will drop dozens of charges against the owner of the Aspen Grove apartment complex as part of the agreement, as reported by the Denver Gazette. The Aspen Grove was shuttered in August, with about 300 people evicted after the city identified health and safety issues, including rodent infestations, sewage backups, lack of electricity, and trash pileups. It kind of sounds like Venezuela. Doesn't that sound like Venezuela to you, Griff? Now he's doing the little caterpillar learning game. God, I love this kid so much. Authorities had accused the landlord, Zev Baumgarten, of failing to maintain the 99-unit property located at 1568 Nome Street. I mean, it's hard to maintain a property when there's a Venezuelan gang hanging around, sort of overthrowing you, and they have machine guns. The management company, on its part, has blamed the property's condition on the gangs. See what I'm saying? Claiming Tren de Aragua, TDA for those in the know, that they have scared management away and are forcing residents to pay the rent to them. And so TDA will get the rent, and none of that money will go into maintenance of any kind. No trash pickup, no repairs, nothing, and it will basically it'll be the craziest of slumlords. And so we've all seen this video of them going door to door with rifles and stuff like that. Colorado police and local officials, they go, no, there's no one there. There's no gangs. It's fine. It's fine. Those those boys walking around, that don't quite look right. No, they're fine. Yes, they have machine guns and they're extorting residents. It's fine though. It's fine. As part of the deal with Aurora officials, the owner has also agreed to pay up to $60,000 to clean up and secure the Aspen Grove. So the biggest loser of this is the former management company, and it has just dawned on me. I have not brought up my chat at all. Just on the off chance that maybe one day somebody will be in there. Yeah, we'll just bring that up. Just on the off chance, because who knows what will happen. Okay. A third complex, the Whispering Pines. It's a bit of a cliche name, I think. Has also been affected by gangs, with the law firm hired by management claiming that Venezuelan gangsters have been running the building since late 2023. But of course, the city of Colorado is like, no, it's fine. Hello, George. Welcome. Thank you for being here early today. I guess I'm a week early. I mean, this isn't quite Saturday night off the rails. It's sort of Monday afternoon with my boy Griffin. Look at him. Yeah, we're gonna try and do maybe a thing every day, or nearly every day at about noon, maybe for an hour or so, talk about some news stories, just for a little bit, just to see how it goes. If it doesn't go well, if people don't care, then I'll just go back to standard videos or whatever. But I thought maybe people want to see this boy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the TDA are a criminal group from Venezuela that has stranglehold on the Whispering Pine apartments in Aurora since late 2023. A law firm, Perkins colleague, claimed in a letter to Aurora officials. But despite that, the Aurora officials, they're still like, no, it's fine. Hello, Purdy Doo. Thanks for being here, bud. You hope I have enough Cheerios, George. Yes. And if I run out of Cheerios, I have backup emergency cookies. Just in case. Oh, he's counting and putting triangles in proper order from size. Ugh, such a smart kid. So the property managers basically said that the gangs escalated this year, with the housekeeper claiming that in April 2024 that two individuals went into an apartment, came out with large firearms, and were coming to kill the property manager. The property manager said the two individuals were gang members and arrested as they were coming to kill him. So just in the nick of time, I think. So yeah. The owners of these complexes have been forced to sell, which is I don't know, hopefully police or somebody gets in there and cleans them all out. If only we had a golden-haired fella who could sort of promote the largest mass, what am I? Well, I almost said depopulation. That's a Bill Gates thing. We don't need another one of them. Why does that word escaped me? Where you send the immigrant or the illegals away? Deportation. What the hell's the matter with me there? I think I had a stroke. The largest deportation efforts. If only there was somebody to facilitate that. Because that leads into this story right here. Springfield, Ohio, is a town of 60,000. It's a sleepy little town. I mean, 60,000 is kind of big, but it's like medium. But it has it has been thrust upon it by 20,000 Haitian migrants. Haitians are, well, they're a special breed. Haiti, a small country on an island. It shares about 50% of that island with the Dominican Republic. Now, if you look from above on the island that the Dominican Republic and Haiti share, like bird's eye view, you go, huh, what a weird, funny island. One half of it is green and beautiful and luscious. My goodness, what a great 50% of island. And then you look at the other half and you're like, wow, did somebody like dip it in acid or something? Did somebody set fire to 50%? Because there's like nary a tree to be found. Everything's been cut down. It's just death and destruction and rape, and you get fucking gang like leaders rise up whose name is barbecue because they'll just eat a motherfucker. It's like what is happening in Haiti? Is it the culture? I mean, because the Haitians originally are the same people as the Dominican Republic, much the same as the North Koreans originally are the same as the South Koreans, but you separate them long enough and they start to diverge. Like the South Koreans and North Koreans are actually becoming distinct in their DNA now. Like you're beginning to actually see a difference. Generations of malnutrition will do that. But like, how is it that the Dominican could get their shit together and go, huh, you know what? It's a pretty nice island. We got lots of trees. What if the rich people wanted to come hang out here? That could be our business. But the Haitians were like, nah, we'll just cut it all down. Unbelievable. George says that's just outside Dayton, Ohio. That was the Clinton Foundation. Well, that's something, isn't it? The Clinton Foundation was pretty corrupt and some might say evil. So, Springfield resident claims Haitian migrants are decapitating and eating ducks in the park as Ohio town rages over explosion of migrants. So this is just one. We're gonna go through some of the people from Springfield, Ohio. So a Springfield, Ohio resident has claimed that Haitian migrants have been decapitating ducks in parks and eating them. You're not allowed to do that. Like, there's duck season and there's a goose season, and you need your tags and you can hunt them and blah, 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 blah. You're allowed to do that stuff. Hunting is obviously an important thing, blah, blah, blah. But you can't just go into a public park and decapitate a goose or decapitate a duck and then start eating it. You can't do that. I mean, some ducks and some geese you can't kill because they've decided that they like their home and they're not going to migrate. They're just going to be there. So then they sort of get special bird status where you just don't. Like here in Ontario, we have this little town. It's called Stratford, Ontario. It's kind of a famous town if you know like theater or whatnot. It's the quintessential theater town. In fact, like William Shatner and all of those folks like had a lot of their career started in Stratford, Ontario. Well, they have swans. These swans don't go anywhere, but the town is filled with swans. If you hurt the swans, you're in a hell of a lot of trouble. Like, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're going to jail for harming the swans. Like, it's crazy. Being there once, good food and hot chicks. I love a hot chick. The aggrieved man made the claim during a city commission meeting last month to address the influx of legal Haitian immigrants. I'm not entirely sure that they're legal. Just because the government lets them in, it doesn't mean that they're legal. They were letting them, a lot of illegals in, flying them in even. Which has revitalized the local economy, but also sparked controversy among the locals. I don't know. I think maybe like Joe Biden personally inserted that in there because that seems like it's bullshit. I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something, he told the meeting. These Haitians are running into trash cans, running into buildings. They're flipping cars in the middle of the streets. So what do you mean, like, revitalize the local economy? Like, this guy's saying they're causing all sort of damage. They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their heads off and walking with them. They're eating them. That's messed up, man. Daily Mail's reached out to the Springfield Police Department and the Commissioner's Office for comment on the unconfirmed claim. The unconfirmed claim. Oh, what's this? A picture of a Haitian with a goddamn goose? What do you mean unconfirmed? I'm confirming it for you right now. Heavens to Betsy. Look at him. He's just fucking walking along with a goose. You can't do that. I mean, 1, it's not cool. 2, it's illegal. And 3, bro, that's a Canada goose. I mean, I will say a Canada goose is a nasty fucking bird. It's nasty. I mean, they're fine if they're like over there. But they'll like come up at you and they'll hiss at you. And you're like, Jesus. I think we call them cobra chickens because they're basically like cobra chickens. If you had a chicken, a large chicken, and attached a cobra to its head, that's basically what it is. It's a cobra chicken. It hisses and it tries to bite you. We have a large park in my my city, my town, or whatever. It's basically because we have a couple large parks. It's called Springbank Park, and the Thames River runs through it, and big, huge green areas and all that. 100 gazillion geese live there, and they don't migrate. They just live in that park. They don't go anywhere. So they're kind of like special geese. You can't harm the geese. And you go there. Some people like to go throw bread to the ducks. I guess you're not supposed to do that. I hear it's not healthy for them. One dude, he goes every day with like 3 or 4 buckets of mass like bird seed, and he just throws it to them. These animals, like even if you're walking, just eating your own like little sandwich or something, enjoying some time, that they descend on you. They just descend like this, and then they start like snapping at you, trying to get your food. I'm like, man,
No.
And believe it or not, as Griffin is demonstrating, they flap their wings at you like, oh, sometimes it's terrifying. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so intimidated by all the cobra chickens. Yeah. Anyway, so this guy's got one. So I guess good on him for being brave enough to get that close to one. Oh, goodness. But we have
Yeah.
this. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
This post, warning to all our beloved pets and those around us. My neighbor informed me that her daughter's friend had lost her cat. It's very sad.
Wow.
She checked the pages, the kennels, asked around. One day she came home from work. As soon as she stepped out of her car, looked towards a neighbor's house where the Haitians live, and saw her cat hanging from a branch like you do a deer for butchering. And they were carving it up to eat. I've been told they are doing this to dogs. They've been doing it at Snyder Park with the ducks and geese. And as I was told the last bit by rangers and police, please keep a close eye on these animals. These guys will go and into your backyard and they'll snatch up Fluffy. I mean, maybe Fluffy's a cat, maybe Fluffy's a dog. Doesn't matter. Fluffy's fucked. They're gonna string him up and then eat him. Imagine you're coming home, like this lady says, and then you see your fucking cat. Oh, there's my cat cut open. It's gonna be eaten. Not like they're eating pets. I mean, really, what else do you expect when you have like cannibal Haitian gangs running amok? What are the odds that you're gonna get some of those cannibals over here? Like, my goodness. And then of course, Donald Trump saving a duck. Oh, look at him! Look at him kiss that duck. The things that we're doing with AI are just the funniest things now. Ban them assault chickens, fuck them geese. Those things will rip a moose's head off. Yep, worse than the Chinese restaurant down the road. At least they only use strays. Oh my God. But I guess at least they only use strays. This woman has something to say about it.
Hey, Patriots. So I didn't want to believe what I'm about to tell you, but after researching, looking into it in Ohio, I actually have people out in Ohio. It turns out that there is accuracy to this story. So Springfield is a small town in Ohio. 4 years ago, it had about 60,000 residents. Under Harris and Biden, 20,000 Haitian immigrants were shipped to Springfield, Ohio. The Haitians, and I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are
Most of them
literally like going to parks, you know, how we feed the ducks or whatever. They are taking ducks and cutting their heads off and taking them home to eat them, to cook them and eat them. There was a neighbor that was missing her cat. She couldn't find her cat. One day she came home from work. As soon as she stepped out of her car, looked towards a neighbor's house where Haitians lived, and saw her cat hanging from a branch like you do like a deer.
See, I'm telling you, it's the most messed up stuff. But then you're like, okay, maybe you're like, all right, we're just talking cats here. Right? We're talking geese. Maybe they catch a seagull, whatever. And maybe that's just it. But what if they, I don't know, hurt a child? A human child. 11-year-old Aiden Clark was killed on his way to school in Springfield, Ohio. His killer was a Haitian illegal alien. DHS under Biden-Harris let him in. Like, I mean, it's it's really just it's too much now. I think we're crossing lines. Like this kid was 11, and he didn't deserve that. And there's, I don't know, like 100 videos now of people at like town hall meetings, and they're like standing in front of like city councilors or whatever, and they're shouting about how everything is going wrong in Springfield, Ohio. About how the I covered, there was a story that I covered, quite possibly on one of my live streams or whatever, a little while back, about a woman eating a cat, and there's body cam footage. Yeah, that's crazy stuff. And anyways, oh, I guess Haitians have gotten into the Dominican Republic, and now they're turning that upside down. Okay, great. That's fantastic. I mean, what they say about like importing the third world and becoming the third world is sort of absolutely true. But now let's get into I don't know, a lighter topic. These are the kind of funny topics. Very serious, but also kind of funny. A dominating female senator used male chief of staff as her sex slave. Griffin, cover your ears, buddy. You don't want to hear any of this. Married dad of 3 claims he suffered herniated discs in his back after she forced him to prove his loyalty in the car. That's kind of funny. A California state senator, and apparently she was a Democrat for a very, very, very long time, and then she just flipped Republican. I don't know why. Maybe she sees the writing on the wall and wants to be Republican as everything turns Republican. Maybe that's what she's doing, but she's been a Democrat for an exceedingly long time, and then has only now just flipped. So when I say Republican California state senator, I don't want people to be like, "Oh my God, it's a Republican." I mean, yes, I guess technically, but not really. So California state senator has been accused of keeping her married male chief of staff as a sex slave and injuring his back while forcing him to perform oral sex. I mean, I guess I don't know how inappropriate I'm allowed to get, 1, in the middle of the day, and 2, while my little son is here. But but I mean, I guess that's bad. I mean, nobody should be forced to do anything, especially in that. You know, no one should ever be forced, because that's bad. 100% bad. Wood chippers for anyone who forces anybody to do anything. Although, I mean, I do love a ham sandwich. I'm just saying. Republican, California State Senator Marie Alvarado Gill, 50 years old, was hit with the accusations Thursday by former chief of staff and father of 3, Chad Condit, the 57-year-old son of former Congressman Gary Condit. Condit claims the mother of 6 frequently demanded oral sex, including in the car, which caused him to suffer a back injury in the civil lawsuit filed in Sacramento Superior Court. Now, I understand this guy's plight, right? As technically by trade I am a welder, although my tickets have expired being a stay-at-home dad for as long as I have been. I've done a lot of welding in a lot of positions that would for a period of time that would require me to see a chiropractor to straighten my spine afterwards, right? You're kind of like you're welding a pipe or you're welding whatever, and you're kind of like tucked and you're bent and you're just from weird angles and whatever, and it sucks. You're doing it for the job. You're doing it for the company or doing it to, get your product out, whatever it is. And then, it is hard on the body. It's true. So I understand that part of this guy's plight. But the whole thing of there was just too much ham sandwich to devour. I've never experienced such a problem. I mean, that sounds like a stupid fucking problem to have, but it is a problem nonetheless, if that makes sense. Condit claims the relationship was one of sex-based quid pro quo that he characterized as being punctuated by unwelcome advances and sexual behaviors coupled with punishment and flexing of power. To me, a quid pro quo means you do me and I'll do you. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, or something like that. So this guy would have got something out of it if it was a quid pro quo, right? Like that to me, that statement also like it's undermines like the sex slavery aspect because slaves don't get anything out of it. It sounds like this guy at least got to come. Cover your ears, bud. Alvarado Gil was elected in 2022 and hired Condit as chief of staff. She fired him in December 2023 and vehemently denies the allegations, branding him a disgruntled former employee who has fabricated an outlandish story to get a payday. George says, I'd call it there and save the rest for an after bedtime talk. Well, I mean, I probably should, but I have to, tonight I have to stream with Daniel Clancy, my Australian mate. Condit claims that Alvarado Gil has a proclivity for oral sex that she treated as a perk of power. So I guess this is them together. uh, is she fat because a high calorie ham sandwich could be bad for your health? Well, I mean this. So I mean maybe I don't know. I guess that's up to personal preference. So they were driving together and they pulled over to go to the restroom. The lawsuit recounts of one of the alleged incidents during a trip in Inyo County. When he came back to the car, she had her pants pulled down and said, I want you to kiss it and prove your loyalty. I mean, if that's true, that is so brazen. That is so bold. She had her legs spread and turns towards him, exposing the ham sandwich. Her direction was for him to submit to her, demand and orally pleasure her ham sandwich. The lawsuit claims that he was numbed and acted without thinking. I mean, I understand that that's a concept, but being numbed and surprised by a thing and but A lot of thinking is required to get into the positions that he got into. So you can't necessarily act without thinking when you're doing a very difficult challenge. It's kind of like when a person wakes up from like sleep or whatever, and they're just so tired, but they have to get up. You know, a good way to do them? Ask them a math question, a simple math question. But once their brain starts thinking, they're like, okay, I'm awake. So sometimes when my son refuses to wake up for school, I go, because he loves math, and he's kind of like in and out of it, and he's just like, I go, hey, buddy, what's 5 plus 5? I mean, anyone knows that. A 6-year-old should. An autistic genius should definitely know that. And then he's like, it's 7. I'm like, bro. And then he's like, oh, wait a minute, it's 10. But that point, he's awake. On the final occasion that she demanded the business, Condit says he suffered a grievous injury due to the confined space of the car they were sharing. Condit claims that he performed the act in a car seat with his body having to twist and contort in the confined space of the car. It almost sounds like he had to be in a child's car seat. Like, or maybe it just means in the regular seat of the car. But having to twist and conform, like, why wouldn't you be on the floor? But anyways, that's irrelevant. As a result, the chief of staff suffered 3 herniated discs in his back and a collapsed hip. That's the crazy part. That's a massive injury. Like, that is a massive injury. Like a career-ending injury. He says that he began to push back against her demands following the injury, which, a collapsed hip. I'm not even sure what that means. I just know it's real bad. And anyways, this made her unhappy with him because ham sandwiches have to be serviced. My goodness. So she, I guess she had also, it is claimed, made inappropriate comments, including whether or not he had feelings about a throuple. Because she wanted to be in with his wife or something. Alvarado Gil asked whether he thought his wife would be into that. My goodness, I can't please one woman. I don't know what I would do with 2. It's like twice the disappointment. Alvarado Gil asked whether he thought his wife would be into that. Blah 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 blah. For one, the Senate District 4 representative allegedly told him that she prefers short black men, but also old white guys, and that if Republican State Senate Roger Nielo was younger and single, I would jump bones. That is that's crazy. So yeah, he's suing because he was taken advantage of, right? There's also like there's a position of power and authority, and an injury, but also that Condit claimed that prior to being fired, Alvarado Gil threatened to hire his wife Helen, with whom he had 3 kids. Like, what a threat! You lick this ham sandwich, or I'll hire your wife. Like, what? Yeah, so of course, she denies all of it. The California State Senate is also named in the lawsuit as Condit named staffers. They are allowed the alleged harassment, which she said never included sexual intercourse. So maybe he didn't get off. Maybe it's not much of a quid pro quo. But Anyways, she says he's disgruntled. I think it's kind of a funny story. I mean, again, you know, sexual assault's it's not funny, but sometimes it's kind of funny. That makes me a bad person. I understand. Yeah, let's jump to how are you holding up, bud? 50% Cheerios have been munched on. 50%. That's where we're at right now. 50% completion of Cheerios. So Biden-Harris dereliction of duty in Afghanistan led directly to chaotic withdrawal and loss of 13 American lives, according to damning catalog of missed warnings and complacency revealed by Republican inquiry. Now, many people, probably dumb people, they're going to say, well, yeah, that's no big deal. It's fine because it's a Republican inquiry. Of course, a Republican inquiry is going to impale the Biden-Harris administration over that. If it was a Democrat inquiry, they would have been like, no, it's fine. So right off the bat, you're going to have a whole lot of people just hand-waving it away. But they say President Joe Biden pushed ahead with his plan to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan despite multiple warnings of devastating consequences, according to a damning congressional investigation published Sunday, which reveals a catalog of missteps and missed opportunities. Kamala Harris is desperate to pin it all on Trump. Desperate because, I thought that this was going to be, it was a very serious thing, the whole Abigate thing, very, very serious, but I thought it was going to be over and done with. After Joe Biden checked his watch a bunch of times, I kind of thought, I was like, this is going to be like memory hold, is going to be forgotten. No one's going to talk about it like ever again. But I don't know, much like a zombie, like Joe Biden, it's come up again and people are talking about it. And it has actual serious impact. I wasn't expecting that. I guess in a weird way, these fallen soldiers can get kind of like one last fuck you, Biden-Harris. It reveals how Washington's most senior official in Kabul went on vacation even as the Taliban was closing in on the capital city. And it accuses Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and other officials of prioritizing politics and optics over operational needs, such as planning for an emergency evacuation of civilians. Now, it's weird to me because optically, succeeding, that's the best optics. So here they are, they're doing the thing that makes them look the best. Well, now here we are a few years later, and it's still an absolute disaster. Optically, they failed, even though they were striving for optics. It's crazy to me. Like, sure, if you had covered operational needs, maybe it would have looked bad, but you wouldn't have had this. Like, so many politicians, especially on the left, they have a thing where we're not looking that far down the road. We're solving the problem right now in the now. Any future be damned. The only time that they can actually see the future is with the climate change hoax, because climate change is just a greenwashing of the word communism, and so they want to institute communism for the long term. And so that's the only time they can really look like down the road, is when they're talking about climate change. But again, communism. The resulting chaos with tens of thousands of foreign nationals and Afghans crowding into Kabul's airport after the Taliban seized the city in August 2021 triggered the first crisis of the Biden administration. Do you remember when he was like, "There's gonna be no choppers fleeing like Saigon," and then all of a sudden, like I don't know, it was like a day after or maybe hours after, there was like choppers fleeing the rooftops of the embassies, nearly exactly like Saigon. And like, well, we never said that. What are you talking about? Man, what a disaster. What a disaster. And it descended into tragedy when a suicide bomber killed 13 American service personnel and about 170 Afghans. And if I'm not mistaken, a lot of Americans were left behind. Like a lot of them. And this whole "we'll never leave an American behind, but you should stop thinking about it so we can forget about them." The findings come in a report by Republican members of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Our investigation reveals the Biden-Harris administration had the information and opportunity to take necessary steps to plan for the inevitable collapse of the Afghan government so we could safely evacuate U.S. personnel, American citizens, green card holders, and our brave Afghan allies. That's by Rep. Michael McCall, chairman of the committee. Does this have like a bullet points? He described the withdrawal as an unconditional surrender and said that the failure to plan for all eventualities was a dereliction of duty that directly led to the preventable loss of American lives. I'm still to this day blown away that the 80, 100 million, gajillion, infinity dollars of equipment was just left in perfect working order, if not nearly perfect working order. It's funny, there was it Black Hawk helicopters that were there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, but we were servicing those ones, and they're not operable, and they're never going to fix them." And then the Taliban, they went on Google, they figured it out, they fixed it, and they started flying these Black Hawk helicopters. Some of them hilariously crashed because they're retards, but it's like the thing is, now they have the Humvees, now they have all the guns, now they have rocket launchers, not just their silly little RPGs. Like they have a bunch of stuff. And then they're like, "Oh, who wants these? North Korea? Russia? Any other terrorists out there? ISIS-K? You want some of this stuff?" Like they're now the biggest arms dealers on the earth. And Biden did that. For its part, the White House National Security Council accused McCall of producing a partisan report based on cherry-picked facts and inaccurate characterizations, which I basically said that at the beginning. And official said preparations for withdrawal include planning for all contingencies, including a rapid deterioration of the security situation, even though intelligence at the time deemed this unlikely. Then something's wrong with the intelligence. Everyone knew that. And Trump's going to say it on the debate tomorrow night. Why Bagram? He'll likely say it, I'm assuming. Why abandon Bagram? I mean, why abandon it, one, at all, or two, first, especially number two? That just makes no sense. The report calls for Congress to condemn Biden and Harris and 13 officials, and it says produces responsibilities for non-combat evacuation orders or NEOs should be codified so that politics cannot drive the process. The order to leave Afghanistan after 20 years of bloodshed may have been the most consequential decision of Biden's time in office. It would have probably been better for them just to stay. I mean, the best would have been following Donald Trump's plan to perfection. Second best would have probably been to nearly maybe stay a little bit longer or whatever until the fighting season was over or something. Maybe delay a little bit because Donald Trump was like, "Yeah, we're getting out at the end of the fighting season," and then Joe Biden was like, "No, we're not. We're gonna wait." Oh, what's that? The fighting season has started? Yes, we'll get out right now, you retards. So maybe delay it till the end of the next fighting season or whatever. The third best would just be stay, and then like the worst thing was to do exactly what Biden did. Like it was so bad. It was like it was intentionally, deliberately bad. The decision to leave was flawed from the beginning, flying in the face of military and intelligence assessments. Despite Biden's public assertions to the contrary, our investigation has revealed that the Secretary of Defense, Chairman of Joint Chiefs, Commander of U.S. Central Command, also known as CENTCOM, Secretary of State, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Everything's got the longest name possible. And the commander of NATO's Resolute Support Mission and the United States Forces Afghanistan all advised against withdrawing the U.S. troops from the country, both during and after the interagency review. So everyone said, hey, listen, this is a bad time. This is a bad time to do it. Everyone agrees. Yeah, so Biden announced a decision to withdraw the last remaining troops on April 14th, 2021. His original timetable set September 11th, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, as the deadline. Like, I understand wanting to have some big symbolic thing, September 11th, we're finally out, blah 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 blah. But I mean, that's the least important thing. Like getting everybody out alive. That's like the most important thing. So yeah, this is a scathing report. Yeah, Biden Harris dereliction of duty led directly to the loss of 13 American lives. Oh, now we're watching Gecko's Garage. That's what he's doing. Oh, I think we're at 66% Cheerio loss here. That one. You guys wanna do a funny one or a serious one? Let's do a funny one. Let's alternate them. A cross-dressing man dies from deadly infection after putting everyday product in his backside. Haha. It's sad that the guy died. That's sad. The rest of it's just hilarious. Sir. He's just discovered the volume button on the side. No, leave it at regular. Leave it regular. What are you doing? A Japanese man has died from kidney failure 3 years after putting a stick of eyeliner up his backside. And listen, if you put anything in your backside, whether it be a stick of eyeliner, an eel, a lemon, a hamster, a pop bottle, anything, you have to make sure it comes out. Just saying. The unnamed patient, who was in his 60s, was rushed to the hospital after his brother found him unconscious at home. A CT scan revealed a 3.5-inch long tube of eyeliner in his rectum, which doctors he believed he used for some stimulation. George says he got what he deserved for stupidity. Oh, goodness. Don't put stuff up there. I mean, butt stuff is fine. Just don't leave stuff up there. Don't put weird stuff up there. Just like normal stuff, I guess. A patient who was a cross-dresser, probably explains why he had eyeliner, was too unstable for surgery and died 2 days after being admitted to hospital. An autopsy revealed that the eyeliner had penetrated his bladder and caused an egg-sized mass to form. So it had been up there for a very long time, and he just left it. So I mean, here it is. It's in there. The part that's blurred out is actually it's blurred out because it's gross, but it's just a bladder stone had formed. At first, I was like, "Oh my god, is that poop?" But no, it a bladder stone, which I guess is like a gallstone, kidney stone. Doctors believe the patient died of sepsis as his body overreacted to a kidney infection. I think his body probably did the right thing. According to the case published in a medical journal, the unnamed patient suffered intermittent bouts of abdominal pain for 3 years. Imagine that. 2 weeks before his death, he complained of anorexia and diarrhea to his brother, who he lived with. The patient's medical history is unknown, as he rarely went in for checkups. Though he was still unconscious when he arrived at the hospital, he suffered a high heart rate and low blood pressure. He also had a 100-degree fever. So 100 degrees is low-grade fever. Doctors gave the patient antibiotics as they believed there could be an infection, and adrenaline for his low blood pressure. After his death, a police investigation revealed that the patient had a habit of wearing women's clothes, which I mean is fine if you're into that. Just don't do anything with kids, I guess. It'll be weird. They also found a vibrator hidden in a stocking in his room. I mean, that's whatever. Patient, his fingernails were red. That's irrelevant. This leads experts to believe that he inserted the eyeliner into his rectum for a fun time. Yeah, so the autopsy, that's the interesting part. The actual medical part of it, to me, is interesting. Maybe you guys hate it, but I think it's fascinating. The autopsy showed small wounds on the patient's buttocks and an ulcer in his perineum. Small patch of skin, between the business there. The eyeliner had penetrated his bladder and was found inserted in a 2.5-inch bladder stone. Oh my god, that's awful. Well, the mass likely formed from the eyeliner's damage to the bladder. Isn't that crazy? Don't put stuff in there. Doctors believe this is the first case report detailing a complication from a foreign body in the rectum several years after the initial incident. Yeah, don't leave it in there for a long time. They noted this is an extremely rare case. Yeah, that's pretty insane. Good lord. I guess this means we go back to oh, what do we do? I have like 10,000 tabs pulled up. What do we do? Do we do UN agency staff not to say Englishman or man's best friend in latest crackdown on gendered language? Or do we do U.S. discount retailer with 1,400 stores files for bankruptcy as stock halves in minutes? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll do this one. UN agency staff told not to say Englishman or man's best friend in latest crackdown on gendered language. I hate the UN. The UN should be like disbanded. The UN, the WEF, and the WHO. They're all terrorist organizations, I swear to God. Oh, Pretty Deuce's retailer. Well, we'll do this then. You're not allowed to say mankind. It's now humankind. Cavemen is out. Cave dwellers in. Englishmen gone. English person. That's acceptable. Midwife. Midwives have delivered all of my children. They're beautiful. I love midwives. But out. Afuela is birth attendant. Although they weren't so much attendants as they were actually delivering my children. Very, very important. Fisherman. Afuela. Fishers. You're now a fisher. Lumberjack? No. Woodchopper. Oh, the people who came up with his list, they need a wood chipper. Postman? Gone. Postal carrier. Sportsman or sportswoman? Afuela. Sports person. Waiter? Waitress? No. Nay. Restaurant server. Man's best friend. No. A faithful dog. Man-made. Hand-built. And here's the thing. If it's man-made, what does that really mean? Let's say we're I don't know. Elon Musk wants to go to Mars in 2 years. A manned mission to Mars within 4 years. He's got these big fucking hopes. Let's say we get to Mars. And let's say there's the technology is sorted or something like that, and an astronaut is there and looking suave in their Elon Musk fucking spacesuit or whatever, and they find the thing in there. Maybe it's some kind of like, I don't know, technology. Maybe it's a piece of metal or something, but it's got a very clear right angle on it. Right angles don't really happen in nature, right? So it's very obvious that it's created by a creature, an entity, maybe a person, maybe an alien, who knows. What does that astronaut say then? Oh, yep, looks hand built. What if it wasn't hand built? What if it was built by a machine? Man-made is it created by humans or not? Maybe it's a piece of, the how many rovers do we have on Mars right now? Like fucking 5 of them or something. Maybe it's a bit that's fallen off of that, and then they find it. Oh, was it man-made? Was this made by little green men, or is it made by people? Like, oh, it was hand built. It's stupid. Anyways, it's stupid. Makes me mad. So that's the list. They're like ruining language. They're even changing the meaning of what words are supposed to be. So anyways, U.S. discount retailer of 1,400 stores files for bankruptcy as stock halves in value in minutes. Another huge nationwide retailer filed for bankruptcy this morning, raising questions over the future of its 1,400 stores. Now, I don't think we have this store in Canada here, but it's a discount home and goods retailer, Big Lots. You guys know Big Lots? I don't know anything about it, but if it's a discount home goods retailer, that's got to be saying something. Like, dollar stores are going out of business. Like, how tight are people holding on to their money if even the dollar store has to raise prices and go out of business? This discount home goods retailer has to completely fucking close all of their doors. I mean, it's pretty insane to me. Like, no one has any money to spend at all. You would think that people would be like, oh, well, I excuse me, sir, you're getting a little fast and loose with that volume button. No, sir, this is No, this is a lot. This is a live show. How dare you interrupt it like this? So on this Amazon tablet, and if you have little kids, I totally recommend the Amazon tablet. All of these people who are like, no, don't let your children see a screen. Fuck you. Fuck you. Anyways, they have this great thing where you can set the volume to like a max, so you're not allowed to put it beyond like say 50, 20, whatever percent you choose. So these tablets, we have them, you can only put them at 50% max. And so when you put them beyond that, they're beyond that just for a second before the software kicks in. And so he wants it max, and then it goes down. And so he puts it max again. He gets so mad. He's like, the volume's not doing what I want it to do. And I go, yes, but it's doing what I want it to do. Anyways. Yeah. Anyways. Back to this. So the Chapter 11 filing from discount home goods retailer Big Lots is the latest from big American retailers and restaurant chains, which are suffering their worst year for bankruptcies and closures since the pandemic wreaked havoc with business in 2020. Honestly, Big Lots is like trashy women decorating shit, kind of sub Bed Bath and Beyond. Is that what it is? Okay, well, I mean, if it's a bad store and nobody wants their shit, then, they should go out of business. You know what I mean? If they can't sell what people want, then... Fuck, I love this kid. You hear him? Do you guys hear him laughing? One thing Griffin will do is like he'll watch Gecko or something, and then there'll be like a funny little scene, and then he'll watch it and he'll laugh his face off, and then he'll rewind it and then laugh his face off, and it just gets funnier and funnier and funnier every time he watches it. Like the 900th time he does it, he starts just laughing uncontrollably. It's the most adorable thing. Yes, okay, so I mean, it's the capitalism way. If you can't sell what people want, then I guess that's that. So a total of 21 have filed for bankruptcy in the first half of the year. Like Red Lobster, which exited Chapter 11 last week, but not until it had shuttered more than 100 locations. Do you know I've never eaten at a Red Lobster? I've never eaten at a Red Lobster before. And now they're going out. Meanwhile, high-profile retailers going bankrupt include 99 Cents Only, which closed 371 stores after filing in April. Home improvement giant LL Flooring, which is having a huge closing sale as it's at its 442 stores. Big Lots hope to sell the business through a private equity firm Nexus Capital, but first they will cut costs by closing more stores. Yeah, that's rough. Think of all of those people now without a job. That's crazy. Funny thing about the self-checkouts is that I think Walmart started the trends of self-checkouts, and then everyone was like, oh, look at Walmart go. Wow, self-checkouts. And then so everyone started instituting self-checkouts, and the Walmart was like, actually, we're putting self-checkouts, we're taking them away because the theft is just too high. It's so high. It's way easier to have additional checkouts and pay these people. We save money by paying more employees than the amount of theft that we have. And so now Walmart is taken out, or at least in their low trust areas. Some cities, some areas of some cities, everything needs to be behind glass for a reason. That populace that serves that area is very low trust. Red Lobster was trashed. It's just time for the great purge of shit retailers. Maybe. I've never eaten there. My wife said it was like low tier. Like she says that's not where you go for like a good seafood experience. I don't know. Retail analyst Neil Sanders said bankruptcy was the inevitable destruction for a chain that had posted 16 consecutive quarters of declines. I guess that's that. All right, let's do one last one. One last story. Oh, I forgot to cover this part. Huh. Okay. This one is well, it's sort of a part of my brand. Female high school teacher, 25 years old, is charged with having sex with a student in Georgia. It's still happening. For as long as this happens, I'll still have stories to talk about. Isn't that amazing? A female high school teacher is facing criminal charges for allegedly having sex with a student in Georgia. Now, this might be a bombshell story, or it could just be almost a nothing burger. I mean, sometimes these teachers go after like kids who are like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. Sometimes they're like a student that's like 17 turning 18 next week, but still technically it's against law. And those students are like almost 18. I'm like, you retard, you couldn't wait 4 months. So we don't actually know which one this is. Female high school teacher is facing criminal charges for allegedly having sex with a student in Georgia. Chastity, bit of an ironic name. Sir, you're getting way too close. What are you doing here? You're getting very excited. Oh dear. I think we're at 25% Cheerios. Chastity, Cheyenne Knight, 25 of Uvalde, was arrested on August 27th. Law enforcement reached out to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to assist with a possible case of sex abuse by a teacher with students at Toombs County School District August 19th. Their investigation revealed that Knight had been allegedly having a sexual relationship with a student in January while she was still a teacher. The age and gender of the victim has not been released. So I mean, it could literally be a lesbian situation. I've covered those. Those ones are kind of interesting. It could be someone who's 17, but I mean, also it could be someone who's like 13. Knight was charged with 1 count of improper sexual contact by employee agent of foster parent. I mean, that's charged with very little. That's sir. Enough with the volume. Let the no, stop it. Stop it. Good golly. Good Lord. All right. The school district certified the resignation of Knight on April 11th from Toombs County High School, according to their meeting. So yeah, she's charged with very, very little. Makes me believe that maybe this was an older student. In Georgia, the punishment for Knight's charges can vary depending on the severity, but for first degree offenses, those found guilty can face can face 1 and up to 25 years imprisonment along with $100,000. And then I think it's kind of funny how it actually makes reference to a story that I have covered before. Sir. Okay. All right, this comes just months after former high school teacher was sentenced to 13 years in prison after she pleaded guilty to having sex with a student as many as 30 times, including one on a school field trip to Washington, D.C. Heather Hare. So I actually, especially on Rumble, I actually have a dedicated video to Heather Hare. So she had this relationship with the student. A, my wife must be on lunch. And so the student that she was that she was with was a little bit older, and but she actually crossed state lines and provided marijuana and alcohol. So her relationship with the student occurred between August 2021 and April 2022. Investigators found that Hare had sex with the student in her car, her home, and even in her classroom. The senior was a student, so this was one of those. The student was older, and she just had to wait. It's like, lady, you just had to wait like half a year or something. But no, you needed your ham sandwich to be serviced by a child, right? You had to have that, and so she was like, "Oh yes, I'll totally be the teacher that takes the class to Washington D.C. Totally." And then she was like in the boys' hotel room. And then so she was like, "Oh, what's this? You and all your friends, here's all the alcohol. Here's the marijuana. Let's get freaky." And then, like, all the kids were like, "I mean, I guess." And so anyway, she got 13 years for that. It was yeah, it was pretty crazy. So she first encountered each other. She was assigned to give them one-on-one counseling, and she did with her mouth. At one point, the teacher confessed to the teen that she had fantasized about them, being intimate at the home that she shared with her husband and young daughter. And that always gets me. That always gets me. And I say it in every video. I always think about the poor husband who always has to be thinking, "Oh yeah, my wife is preferring the member of a boy." It's the craziest thing to me. I'll never understand it. Like, why they do that. They're always young. They're always married recently, sometimes barely out of their wedding dress. Excuse me, sir. Okay. All right. Anyways, the pair's relationship grew through messaging. It's always Snapchat. Always Snapchat. Sometimes Instagram. One time it was WhatsApp. One time it was like Signal and Telegram. But it's always Snapchat. Anyway, so they had business at the nation's capital. So anyways, 13 years for that one. So we don't know what this other one's going to get. Who knows? Sometimes it's just a slap on the wrist. So on this live stream right here, we've witnessed it. Griffin has discovered how to actually get the volume going. It's always interesting to see a new skill, how they do something. He has he's figured out that there's a little volume icon button as opposed to pressing the physical buttons on the side, which he doesn't do very well. He knows he can hit the button, the thingy will pop up, and he can slide it up. For me, that's tragic. Although I love to see him grow and develop. Okay, what do we got here? We probably got like 20, 25 Cheerios left. And they're rapidly going. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for being here, spending some time with us in the middle of the day while Griffin and I do some of this stuff. And of course, it's my Rumble family. No one from YouTube decided to even bother today, but my Rumble family never lets me down. I love them so. And yeah, that's gonna be that's good. Do you want to say goodbye to the boys and the girls? Yeah, so I guess and and we're gonna wrap that up. So again, thank you everyone. And was that a wave? You waving? Okay. All right. Thank you again, everyone. We're gonna try and do this tomorrow at noon. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Thank you so much. I love you all, and well, we see you tomorrow. Peace. Peace. Give a peace sign. Go like this. Go peace. Go peace. Wait, peace. Peace. No, just two fingers. Just two. No, don't flick them. Just go like this. Can you do this? Oh, Jesus. Okay. Peace.